Hi everyone, it is time for a new video, and today I'm actually going to be talking about books that I want to read in September. So I don't normally do TBRs anymore, not like every month or anything, but this month it makes a lot of sense because basically I feel like if you keep up with my videos, it's going to be extremely confusing because I basically, at the very beginning of July, I went back home to like my parents' place and I was here for like a week. My sister had her graduation ceremony. And then I went back to Edinburgh and I was filming there. And so I have a lot of videos still that you're gonna see where I was in Edinburgh. I just got extremely behind on editing. Like the past few months, I've been constantly behind. So this video will be back home, but the next few will still be back in Edinburgh. So I'm here for just like a month and I have a lot of books. So I have a lot of books that stayed here and I have a lot of books that I brought here to leave here. These books are books that I really want to get to, and so hopefully this is going to push me to do that. And at the same time, there's kind of like a vibe going on that's like books that feel fitting for late summer for me. Feels still like summer, especially here. Definitely not in Edinburgh. And especially because I was in Edinburgh, the summer there is a little bit strange, and so I never really got to read summer books entirely, and so I want to read some, and then there's just, you know, there's some random stuff as well, but let's just get straight into it. Who cares? There is the Bookaplathon that's happening, and I will be participating and vlogging, and so the way that you can do it is basically you can either set a TBR at the beginning of the month, or you can like play it throughout, and then like each prompt chooses your book, you read the book, and then you get the next prompt. And so I'm kind of going to be doing that and trying to fit all of these books into that. The first book that I have here is a book that I will feature in a vlog, which will be it will be after this. So you will see me reading it in a vlog, and I'm very excited about it. I already started it, but I never got to finish it. I brought it here, and that is If You Still Recognize Me by Cynthia So. This book is a YA contemporary, and honestly, this color scheme gives me really big September vibes. And so this is a YA contemporary romance. I think, though, I do think it's mostly going to be a coming-of-age story with some romance, and we have Elsie, who basically has a crush on her online best friend, and she has never really, like, confessed to her feelings, but they've been there for a long time, and she's trying to, you know, gather up the courage to tell her that she sees her as more than a friend. And then there's another girl who basically used to be best friends with Elsie, but they kind of like grew apart and, you know, didn't see each other for a really long time, and so she's going to be back in her life. So I don't know if it's like a love triangle. I don't know anything, to be honest, but it does seem like it. And while I don't like love triangles, I just feel like this is going to be a really powerful, wonderful coming-of-age story that I'm really excited for. The beginning that I read, I really enjoyed, and I feel really invested in the story I read already, and so I'm very excited. And I'm going to read you a little blurb on the back because I really like how that sounds. And so it says, "A tender coming-of-age romance and a tapestry of queer identity that spans oceans, generations, and stages of life." So definitely want to read this, and we'll be doing that very soon. So then I have You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. This is the British edition, and I have had this book for like 2 months now, and I just know I'm going to love it. And I was going to read it in August, and it didn't happen, and I still feel like there's like a melancholic vibe to it that somehow feels super fitting for September, and I'm just very excited. So I don't really know much, but I've been hearing amazing things about it. I just know that it's a romance and it's beautifully written and that's pretty much all that I know, but I'm very, very excited, and I really think I'm going to fall in love with it. I want to annotate it and everything, but, you know, I just need the right time, but I do think the right time is hopefully gonna come in September. Then I have a book that I've been avoiding for like a year and a half at least, but maybe at this, no, it can't be 2 years and a half, right? Because that's I got an arc of this book and I had this strong feeling. My first instinct when I heard people describe the book was like, okay, I can never read that. Then my second instinct when I saw that it was available as Read Now on NetGalley was, I have to get it. I have to read it. Then I got the arc. It was really far in advance. It could have been like in the spring when it was coming out in the fall. And I was ready, you know, I was like, I'm gonna read it. And then I just kept on not reading it. And then I was like, okay, I have to buy it physically and read it when it comes out. And so then I did that this spring. Because in the UK it actually came out in like May this year. And so the second that I saw it at a bookstore, I immediately got it. And I was going to immediately read it, but guess what? That didn't happen. But however, I feel like this is actually the perfect time for me to be reading this book, and I didn't even say the name, so that is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao, and I think that, like, all of that happened for a reason, because I think this is going to be a very, very emotional read for me. I think it's going to connect with me on such a deep level, and I haven't felt ready, but I feel like maybe I can actually handle it. And so what happens in here is that we have our two main characters, Julie and Sam, and they were together, they fell in love, but Sam actually passed away. And Julie wants to call his voicemail to like hear his voice one more time, and then he answers. That is all that I know. I just obviously deals with love and grief and loss, all the themes that I want to read about and have been struggling to get myself to read about for obvious reasons, but I think the time has come. And the Bookaplathon, spoiler alert, I've already started it, and I will be reading this for that. We're doing it. Wish me luck. So the next book that I have here is going to be a palate cleanser that will just give me the rom-com lighthearted vibes that I will be needing, and that is Royale by Lucy Parker. Another book that I started. I read 80 pages and I was loving it, but then I put it down just because I don't fucking know at this point. But it is a book that I think I'm absolutely gonna love. I already was loving it, and it has baking, a competition, it's Grumpy Sunshine, everything that I love, and I need to just fucking pick it up and read it. So hopefully there's also going to be a prompt in Bookaplathon that forces me to pick it up. So then I have a book that I'm not entirely sure. It's okay if I don't read it this month, because I do think it would be an epic October read, but I'm extremely excited for it, and that is Inextricably Tied by Aveda Weiss. I have talked about Aveda's books before. Absolutely fucking love them, and this is Aveda's last release. Maybe I will wait till October, but I also don't want to because I just know I'm gonna love it. So it is an adult monster romance, and it's gonna be steamy and like kind of action-packed as well, I think, and just like the perfect blend of like paranormal elements and romance. At least that was the previous book and the little prequel novella, and I'm just so fucking ready. You should definitely pick it up as well whenever you can. So then we have a book that I kind of like, I don't want to say I'm scared, but there's a lot of emotions, and that is The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. So if you didn't know, 7 Days in June became one of my all-time favorite books immediately when I read it last year. I since then got a physical copy, and I desperately want to reread it and annotate it, but I think I'm gonna do that next June. But this book, if I understand it correctly, that this came out before 7 Days in June. In 2016, it seems. But this is like a republished version with a new cover. I don't know if there's any changes, but there's at least this cover, which again, this like bright yellow gives me super strong summer vibes, and I really want to read it before the summer is entirely over, and I just know I'm gonna fucking love it. But again, honestly, similar to the Akwege Emezi book, I just think it's gonna make me feel such strong emotions that I don't feel ready for it yet, but at the same time, I feel like I desperately need it in my life, and I am very fucking excited. Then I have a fantasy book And that is This Wicked Fate by Kailyn Barron. So while I feel like this would also be an amazing choice for October, I do think I'm gonna read it like later in September when I start feeling the fall vibes, because I have the first book here, and while I'm not going to reread it, I just kind of want to read it while I have the book with me. I don't know if that makes any sense. And so I don't want to have to take it with me when I leave, and so hopefully I'm gonna get to it. This cover is absolutely breathtaking. It's definitely one of my favorite covers of all time. I did not love the first book as much as I hoped after absolutely loving The Cinderella is Dead, which was the first book by Kailyn Barron. But I don't know. I have hope that I'm going to like this sequel more. I also need to check if this is a duology or a trilogy. I think it might be a duology. So going into it with an open mind, not too high expectations, but I am hoping that I'm going to enjoy it. And you know, I want to get back into fantasy, so we're gonna do that. And speaking of, I might as well tell you now about the last fantasy book on my TBR, and that is Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. So this one I got to page 140, so I have been taking it slow because I don't want to push myself to read it too fast, but at the same time, if I actually sat down and picked it up again, I do think I would fly through it, because like this book is so much fun already from what I read so far, and it is just like the perfect YA fantasy vibes. That's like super exciting romance and intriguing characters and a fast pace, and it's like easy to comprehend, but at the same time there's like some cool magic as well, and so it is just absolutely perfect. I just don't like reading long books, which is the reason why I keep procrastinating. However, I do think I'm gonna get to it soon, and I can't wait, and I think this could literally be a 5-star. I just need to put my shit together. And again, I actually think I definitely want to read this in September, and again, it's a big book. I would like to not have to take it with me. So then I have another book that I started and will be reading for Bookaplathon, and that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Yes, this is happening. The whole time, since before it even came out, I was like, I need to read it in the summer, and so I'm just gonna fucking read it in September. To be honest, it does kind of feel like it has a vibe that's like late summer. But either way, I just like have had this book on my TBR for a million years. I kept saying that I would read it, and I just need to do it. Then I have a book that I'm very excited for, and that is The Accidental Pinup by Danielle Jackson, which is actually another book that I started, but only a little bit, and I just had to focus on other things, but absolutely fucking adore this cover. And from what I read, which wasn't a lot, but I was enjoying it a lot, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So we have our main character, Cassie, who is a photographer, but at the same time, with her best friend, they have like a lingerie line. Oh yeah, no. Cassie's best friend has her lingerie line, and she wants Cassie to shoot and direct her. And what happens in the end is that the friend, Dana, gets pregnant, and so then Cassie basically has to be in front of the camera instead of like behind it and work with one of the photographers in the city who's actually like her rival and keeps stealing jobs from her. And it's also going to focus a lot on like body positivity, and I just think it's going to be a wonderful, lighthearted, amazing romance that I will just devour in one sitting, and I'm ready. Well, technically like the second sitting, since like I read a little bit, but you know. And last but by no means least is a book that I'm so ready for, but so not ready for, and that is Before We Fall by Rosie Adams. If you didn't know, Rosie's one of my favorite authors ever, and I know I'm going to absolutely fall in love with this book, and it is probably her longest book that she's ever written. And in this case, the length is not what intimidates me. It's the fact that this book is also really gets quite heavy, and it deals with like an abusive relationship like in the past, but I do think there's gonna be some content on the page. So like it is a romance, so obviously it's gonna be like, it's going to have a new, beautiful, healthy romance, but like it obviously also will have some parts of the past and all that pain and trauma, and I have not felt ready at all to pick up this book, but at the same time I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible, powerful reading experience, and I'm very excited. while also being really scared. But again, just like I said with You've Reached Sam, I actually feel like mentally I feel quite good. And so hopefully I can actually take it and read this book. And if I don't want to pressure myself either. So if there's one book that's coming back to Edinburgh with me, it is definitely this one, to be honest. Even if I do read it, I think I'm going to take it with me anyways. But I definitely think that I need to read this book, and there's a high chance I will be doing so in September. And so that is our TBR. I feel like there's quite a random mix of things, but at the same time, I love the vibe. I'm very excited, and I feel like it's going to be an incredible reading month, and I'm here for it. So I'm sorry about all the chaos with how I've been uploading. I hope that it's going to get better. But I also hope you've been enjoying what you've been getting, even though it's kind of chaotic. And yeah, if you made it this far in the video, leave a sun emoji down below for, you know, like the remainder of summer. And I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm going to see you soon in another video. Bye!